Combat instructor Kael'thas slammed the emergency lockdown button as his three best warriors collapsed on the training mat, their predatory forms twitching in what the medical scanner was identifying as acute psychological shock from encountering superior predator threat. The human was still standing in a relaxed defensive stance, not even breathing hard, asking if anyone wanted to take a water break. "Lethal threat detected," the facility's AI screamed across every comm channel. "Earthborn combat capability exceeded safe parameters, initiating station-wide containment protocols." Wait, what? Emma Johnson lowered her hands, looking around the suddenly sealed training deck with genuine confusion. "Guys, I was going super easy. It was just light sparring." Kael'thas stared at his console where three separate threat indicators were flashing crimson. His elite Kreshtar warriors, apex predators from a death world, trained since hatching to dominate any combat scenario, were unconscious. The human, designated as non-combatant observer species, had put them down in 4 seconds. 4 seconds. And she thought she'd gone easy. "Instructor Kael'thas, report status immediately." Commander Vexthul's voice crackled through his comm, sharp with alarm. "We're reading an extinction-level threat on Training Deck 7. Do you require armed response?" According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. Kael'thas watched Emma kneel beside one of his fallen warriors, checking their pulse with casual competence. "Commander, the threat is contained." "Contained? The scanner is registering lethal parameters. What kind of creature breached our facility?" Emma looked up, apparently catching parts of the conversation through the room's speakers. "Oh, is this about the sparring match? Sorry, I thought you guys wanted me to participate. The sign-up sheet said, 'All species welcome.'" Kael'thas felt his training implants trying to compensate for the cognitive dissonance. The human had been cleared for this facility specifically because Earth was classified as emerging non-threat species, minimal combat capability. Her paperwork listed her profession as administrative assistant for diplomatic corps. She was supposed to observe, take notes, maybe participate in some non-contact exercises. She was not supposed to dismantle his best warriors like they were hatchlings. "The Earthborn is the threat, Commander," Kael'thas said slowly, watching Emma help one of the Kreshtar into a sitting position. The warrior, a decorated veteran of 17 campaigns, looked at the human with something Kael'thas had never seen in his species before: fear. "That's impossible," Vexthul snapped. "Humans are classified as non-combatants. Their biology doesn't support—" "Commander, you need to come down here, now." The medical team arrived in full hazmat protocols, expecting carnage. What they found was Emma Johnson offering water bottles to 3 traumatized warriors while humming something she called a pop song from the 90s. "What happened?" Dr. Sinara demanded, scanning the Kreshtar with trembling appendages. "These readings suggest they encountered—" "No, that can't be right." "What?" Kael'thas leaned over her scanner. "According to their neural imprints, their predator recognition centers registered the human as—" Sinara's voice dropped to a whisper, "as something that hunts them." Emma laughed, actually laughed. "Oh my God, no. I'm a secretary. I alphabetize files for a living. I just do kickboxing twice a week for exercise." "Kickboxing?" Kael'thas pulled up his translation matrix. "A form of recreational combat? You fight for recreation?" "Well, yeah. It's fun and keeps me in shape." Emma stretched her arms over her head casually. "Though honestly, this was way less intense than my Tuesday class. My instructor Sarah really pushes us." Sinara's scanner clattered to the floor. Commander Vexthul arrived with a full security detail, weapons drawn, only to find Emma sitting cross-legged on the mat, explaining the concept of cardio kickboxing classes to a group of increasingly horrified combat specialists. Let me understand this correctly, Vexthul said, his command implants working overtime to process the situation. You engage in combat training for entertainment? Not real combat, Emma said. Just, practice. Like what we were doing here. Light sparring. Nobody actually trying to hurt anybody. Light sparring, Kael'thas repeated. He pulled up the training footage on the main display. Permission to show the commander the engagement, human Emma? Sure, go ahead, though I feel like you're making a bigger deal out of this than it needs to be. The footage played in real time. 3 Kreshtar warriors, each massing twice Emma's size, equipped with natural weapons rated for combat against armored vehicles, rushed her in a coordinated attack pattern that had won 17 interspecies combat tournaments. Emma's response was almost too fast for the standard cameras to track. She sidestepped the first warrior, used his momentum to redirect him into the second, and caught the third with what her post-action report would later describe as a basic hip throw I learned in community center self-defense class when I was 12. Total engagement time, 4.3 seconds. Emma's heart rate during the encounter, 72 beats per minute, baseline human resting rate. The silence in the training deck was absolute. That's not possible, Vexthul finally managed. Your reaction time alone violates known neurology for organic beings. Emma shrugged. I mean, they weren't actually trying to hurt me, so I just did what felt natural. Honestly, I was more worried about accidentally hurting them. They seemed really into the exercise. The scanner registered you as an extinction-level threat, Vexthul said flatly. Your scanner might need recalibration, Emma offered helpfully. I'm really not that special. Back home, I'm pretty average. My little sister Anna could probably do the same thing, and she's in high school. Dr. Sinara made a sound like a dying star. Commander, Kael'thas said quietly, I recommend we contact Galactic Military Command immediately. Director Zara of the Galactic Combat Sciences Institute materialized via holoprojection 40 minutes later, her 400-year career in combat analysis, evident in every measured movement. She had personally designed threat assessment protocols used across 300 species. She had witnessed the evolution of warfare across a dozen star systems. She watched the footage of Emma's sparring session 3 times in complete silence. This is a sensor malfunction, she finally declared. It has to be. No organic being can... Director, we've run diagnostics 17 times, Kael'thas interrupted. We've confirmed with biological scanners. The human has no cybernetic enhancements, no genetic modifications. She is entirely baseline organic. That's impossible. Her reaction speed suggests a neural processing capacity that would require... Director? Emma raised her hand like she was in a classroom. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm getting kind of hungry. Is the cafeteria still open? I was told lunch was at noon. Zara stared at her. You just disabled 3 apex predators in hand-to-hand combat and you're concerned about lunch? Well, yeah, it's almost 1 o'clock and I skipped breakfast. Plus, that sparring was a decent workout. Probably burned, 200 calories? I'm definitely feeling snacky. 200? Zara's hologram flickered. Human Emma, do you understand what just occurred? We had a sparring session. Emma looked around at the assembled officers. Look, I get that maybe I should have held back more, but the instructor said to engage at 70%. I was at like 50, tops. 50%, Kael'thas repeated numbly. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't trying to show off or anything. It's just muscle memory from classes. Emma stood up, brushing off her training clothes. Can someone please explain what the big deal is? You guys have combat training facilities across the galaxy. Surely you've seen people spar before? Not like that, Vexthul said. What you just did should require years of military conditioning, cybernetic enhancements, and combat stimulants. You did it while discussing what you call weekend recreational activities. Emma laughed. Oh, come on. I'm not even that good. You should see actual martial artists, or fighters, or hell, professional athletes. I just do this stuff to stay active and because sitting at a desk all day is terrible for your back. Zara's hologram stabilized as she made a decision. Human Emma, I need you to explain, in detail, your species' physical capabilities and training regimen. Okay, I guess. Emma sat back down. So humans are pretty adaptable. We evolved on Earth, which I guess you'd classify as a Class 7 death. World. Lots of large predators, environmental hazards, that kind of thing. We didn't have claws or armor or venom, so we got good at using tools and working together. And running. We're really good at running. Running? Kael'thas asked. Yeah, persistence hunting. We'd chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. Sometimes took hours, but we could outlast basically anything. Our bodies are built for endurance. We're like the galaxies' marathoners. Emma grinned. Though, personally, I hate running. That's why I do kickboxing instead. Hours of continuous pursuit, Zara said faintly. Oh yeah, some humans do ultramarathons for fun, running for 24 hours straight or more. It's wild. Not my thing, but people do it. Emma paused. Is that weird? You guys are looking at me funny. Continue, Vexthul said tightly. Okay, so we also have this thing called an adrenaline response. When we're threatened, our bodies dump these chemicals that temporarily enhance our strength, speed, and pain tolerance. It's great for emergency situations. You can chemically enhance yourselves at will? Sinara gasped. Well, not exactly at will. It's automatic when we're scared or need to fight or run. Oh, and we have really good pattern recognition. Comes from hunting and avoiding being hunted. We can read body language, predict movements, spot threats really quickly. Emma was describing the biological profile of a nightmare. And humans learn these combat skills recreationally? Zara asked. Some do. I mean, self-defense classes are pretty common. Lots of kids take martial arts. Some people box, wrestle, do MMA. That's mixed martial arts, super intense. Plus team sports, football, rugby, hockey. Those get pretty rough. Your children train for combat, Kael'thas said slowly. For sport and discipline, mostly, though I guess some of it started as combat training way back. Judo, karate, kung fu, those are ancient martial arts. Emma brightened. Oh, and we have this whole thing called parkour, where people run through cities jumping over obstacles. It's really cool. Your species practices high-speed urban pursuit as entertainment. When you say it like that, it sounds weird, but yeah, basically. Zara gestured for a private comm channel with Vexthul and Kael'thas. Pull up Earth's classification file, now. The file appeared. Earth, Class 5 Emerging Civilization. Species, human. Threat classification, non-combatant. Notes, peaceful species showing diplomatic tendencies. Minimal natural weapons, suitable for cultural exchange and trade negotiations. This file is catastrophically wrong, Zara said. Everything she just described, the enhanced endurance, the chemical combat enhancement, the pattern recognition, the species-wide combat training, humans are apex predators, possibly the most apex predators in the galaxy. But they're so friendly, Vexthul protested. Every human we've encountered has been peaceful, helpful, almost aggressively diplomatic. Because they can afford to be, Kael'thas realized. They're not afraid of anyone because nothing poses a real threat to them. Emma's voice interrupted their private channel. Hey, I can tell you're talking about something serious, and I don't want to be rude, but I really do need to eat. Can we maybe continue this over lunch? The cafeteria had never hosted a more bizarre gathering. Emma sat with a tray of what she'd identified as close enough to a sandwich, while surrounded by the station's senior military staff, all treating her like an unexploded quantum bomb. So let me get this straight, Emma said between bites. You guys thought humans were, what, space accountants? Your species presented yourselves as administrators and diplomats, Vexthul said carefully. You emphasized your peaceful intentions and cultural exchange. Well, yeah, because we are peaceful. We're not trying to conquer anybody. Emma took another bite. Just because we can fight doesn't mean we want to fight. That's the whole point of civilization, right? Moving past the whole constant warfare thing. But your entire species maintains combat readiness, Zara pressed. You train your children. You practice combat for recreation. You've weaponized your own social activities. Emma laughed. Okay, that's a bit dramatic. It's just exercise. Humans need physical activity to stay healthy. Combat sports are fun and challenging. It doesn't mean we're all secretly warriors or whatever. Human Emma, Kael'thas said gently. You disabled 3 of the galaxy's premier combat specialists in 4 seconds while maintaining a resting heart rate. You describe this as going easy and less intense than your normal exercise routine. So you represent what you call average human capability. Emma paused mid-bite. I mean, yeah? I'm not an athlete or anything. I just try to stay in shape. The assembled officers exchanged glances. How many humans are there on Earth? Zara asked quietly. About 8 billion, last I checked. The silence was profound. 8 billion combat-capable individuals, Vexthul finally said. Well, if you count kids and elderly people and folks with disabilities, maybe not all of them are. Emma stopped. Wait, are you guys seriously worried about humans being dangerous? Your species could conquer the known galaxy, Zara said bluntly. Emma burst out laughing. What? No, why would we want to do that? Do you have any idea how much paperwork that would involve? Plus, the logistics would be a nightmare, and it would be mean. Mean, Kael'thas repeated. Yeah. Look, just because humans evolved in a rough neighborhood doesn't mean we're monsters. We fight each other sometimes, sure, but mostly we try to get along. We've got art, music, literature, science. We're not just mindless combat drones. Emma finished her sandwich. Though I have to say, this whole conversation is giving me a complex. You're making us sound like the galactic boogeyman. More like the galactic apex predator that doesn't recognize itself as such, Zara murmured. Okay, rude. Emma grinned to show she wasn't really offended. So what happens now? Do I need to, prove I'm not going to eat anyone? Sign some forms? Vexthul's calm chimed. He glanced at it and went very still. High Command wants a full briefing. They're reviewing Earth's classification status. They're going to reclassify an entire species because I won a sparring match? You didn't win a sparring match, Kael'thas said. You demonstrated capabilities that exceed our facility's threat parameters. Every safety protocol we have is designed around the assumption that we house the most dangerous combat species in the galaxy. You walked through those protocols like they didn't exist. I mean, I did ask if the sign-up sheet was for real, Emma pointed out. Nobody said I couldn't participate. Because we didn't think you could, Sinara admitted. Your species file said you were non-combatants. Emma sighed. Look, I get that there's been some kind of miscommunication here, but humans really aren't your enemy. We're not looking for fights. We're just people. We laugh, we cry, we stress about work and relationships, and whether we remember to lock the door when we left home. We're not special. You're extraordinary, Zara corrected. You just don't recognize it because you have no frame of reference. Every other species in the galaxy evolved in conditions that we'd classify as challenging at worst. Humans evolved in a planetary combat arena where everything was trying to kill you, so you became better at killing it first. Then you channeled that into becoming the most diplomatically friendly species we've encountered. Your evolutionary paradoxes. Huh, Emma considered this. I guess when you put it that way, humans are pretty weird. Vexthul's calm chimed again. He read the message and looked up with something like awe. High Command has issued a galaxy-wide advisory. All facilities expecting human visitors must upgrade to what they're calling human-grade safety systems. All personnel are being briefed on human unconscious threat response protocols. What does that mean? Emma asked. It means, Kael'thas said, that you've personally caused the largest overhaul of galactic military protocols in 300 years. With a sparring match. With a sparring match, Emma groaned. This is going to be so awkward. Everyone's going to be weird around me now. Human Emma, Zara said formally. Would you be willing to participate in a controlled demonstration series? Help us develop proper training protocols for facilities that will host humans? Will I get paid? Substantially. And can I still keep my regular job? I actually like doing the admin work. Of course. Then sure, I guess, as long as nobody thinks I'm going to bite them or something. No promises, Kael'thas muttered. 3 hours later, Emma stood on the training deck again, this time with a dozen volunteer warriors from various species. They all looked terrified. Okay, guys, this is what we call controlled sparring, Emma said in her best instructional voice. The goal is to practice technique, not to actually hurt anyone. We're going to move at about 30% speed and power. Everyone good with that? The warriors nodded reluctantly. Great. So first, we'll work on basic defensive stance. It's all about balance and being able to react quickly. Vexithul watched from the observation deck as Emma patiently guided the group through movements that, even slowed down, made his threat assessment implants flash warning colors. She's a good teacher, Zara observed. She's terrifying, Vexithul corrected. And High Command wants to know if Earth has military specialists. Of course they do. Every species does. No, I mean actual combat specialists, soldiers, warriors, if this is their baseline civilian capability. Zara pulled up Emma's file again, under profession, Administrative Assistant, Earth Diplomatic Corps. Under Emergency Contact, Anna Johnson, Sister, High School Combat Sports Team Captain. Under Hobbies, kickboxing, hiking, reading thriller novels, teaching weekend self-defense classes at community center. Teaching self-defense classes, Vexithul said faintly. She teaches other humans how to fight. For fun, on weekends. They watched Emma demonstrate what she called a basic throw that anyone can learn. 2 warriors ended up on the mat, gently but decisively. We need to update Earth's file, Zara said. New classification, friendly extinction event, handle with extreme diplomatic care. Approved, Vexithul agreed. On the training deck, Emma clapped her hands together. Okay, great job, everyone. That's enough for today. Same time next week? The warriors scrambled to agree, despite looking like they'd just survived a natural disaster. Emma grabbed her gym bag and headed for the exit, pulling out her personal comm. Hey, Mom, yeah. Work was weird today. I'll tell you about it later. Did you get my message about Anna's tournament? Tell her good luck from me. Love you too. Bye. She walked past the security station where the threat scanner still flashed red. Apex threat detected. Extinction level capability. Emma waved at the security officer who waved back nervously. Nice workout today, Emma said cheerfully. Yes, human Emma, safe travels. Emma stepped into the transport corridor, already thinking about what she'd make for dinner. Behind her, the galaxy's most advanced military training facility began the largest safety overhaul in its history, all because a secretary from Earth thought it would be fun to try some light sparring. She hummed that pop song again as the transport doors closed. Somewhere in Galactic High Command, an emergency session convened to discuss what to do about the fact that they'd accidentally invited 8 billion apex predators to join the galactic community. And somewhere on Earth, Anna Johnson finished combat sports practice and texted her sister, "How's space? Boring yet?" Emma texted back, "You have no idea." The galaxy would never be the same, but at least lunch had been pretty good.